Well, let me start off by talking about why is it that a lot of black men are not going to church? They're not in the churches. They're staying away from the church. Let's address that issue. Because, see, it's beginning to be an epidemic. And there's a reason for it. You know, church is so commercialized now. You have some churches where you got to bring your W-2 form in. And, you know, what a lot of these churches are doing, they're trying to they're pimping religion. They're trying to pimp God is what they're doing. So somebody needs to say something about this. Because the very ones who are profiting off religion are the ones that's turning black men away from the church. You know, a lot of black men are tired of these games. You know, let's be real about it. The church should be there to help people. Yeah, you should be winning souls and that type of thing, and we understand that. You know, preaching the word of God, that's what you should be doing. I'm with you 100% on that. But when some of these black men come to church and they see the pastors riding around in a Rolls Bentley, flying around in jets, and you have people in the church who are hungry, who cannot even pay the bills, about to be kicked out of their apartment and their homes. They have to walk, catch the bus to come to church, giving the last. And you living in a mansion? Hey, come on, something's wrong with that. And I think what's happened is that a lot of black men just being turned off by that. And I know some people say, well, you shouldn't be worried about what the pastor's driving and what he's doing with his money and all this type of thing. Okay, yeah, that's fine, well and good. But would Jesus do that? Do you really believe that Jesus would be flying around in a 747 while people are starving? He didn't do that. So see, somebody needs to say this. And a lot of people are afraid to address that issue. I'm not afraid of it. Because see, I don't get any money from anybody. I run 3 companies, so I don't even worry about that. And I'm not even concerned about the fact that these people can prosper. We need to address the issue that black men are not coming to church. And something needs to be done about it. You know, these other tactics that people have been using, it's not working. And I say tactics. You know, but come on, let's think about this thing for a minute. The whole reason why people come to church is yet to worship, but they come to be fed the word of God, not to be played on and pimped. You know, if you think about this, you watch a lot of these televangelists on TV, and they get up and they say, well, if you send $100, you're going to get 1,000, you're tenfold $1,000. You send 1,000, you're going to get 10,000. You know what I wondered? I wonder now, if I'm a multi-billionaire and I sent you $1 billion, does that mean I'm going to get $10 billion back? Come on, people, let's be real about this thing for a minute. And when you tell people these type of things, you say, well, look, send $100, you're going to get $1,000. You're going to be blessed. What if I'm sinning every day? Don't you think for 1 minute that that's going to slow down or deter my blessing that I'm supposedly getting? I mean, come on, people. Stop playing with folk, man. All these religious leaders that's playing with people's minds. I mean, it's time out for this kind of thing because, look, I'm telling you, we're losing black men. They're not coming to church. And some of you might say, well, it's their fault. They shouldn't. It's too bad. See, those are the very ones who are sitting up there in the mansions, just sitting around the country off of money that people gave. But think about it. Those same people that gave, don't you think they have a right to be taken care of sometime? I mean, look at the fact that we have high unemployment amongst black men. But I have yet to see some of these churches that's building these huge buildings hire some of these black men. You know, at least let them pick up some trash or something. But it's getting out of hand, and you have to think rationally about things. And no, I'm not trying to pick on any pastors for what they have and what they're doing and all this type of thing, because some of them are doing, they're doing good things. But there should not be one person in your church who's going without food. Because see, if I was a pastor of some of these churches, I would see to it that nobody goes hungry. If a person needed their bills to be paid, let's find a way to pay those bills. And I know you're going to have people in there that's going to try to get over on the church and that type of thing, but still, you have a lot of people in there that are hurting. People should not be hurting, and you shouldn't be playing these games with them. There's time out for that kind of foolishness. And again, like I said, a lot of men are sitting down thinking the same thing, but they're afraid to say something. Some of them go to church with their girlfriends and their wives because they asked them to go. But they don't really want to be there. So, I mean, come on. Let's give this thing some thought. Let's address this issue and find a remedy to fix it. Now, I know some of you just don't care because, look, you living good. People got you living real well. You can go anytime you want to go. Anytime you want to take a vacation, you can take it. Anything you want to buy, you can buy it. But what about the people that's in the church? What about the caring heart that a lot of these religious leaders are supposed to have? Every time you look around, they're asking you for money. Give to this cause, give to that. You've been given to the Bill Farm for 20 years and the window hadn't even been replaced. Still sitting in the same old seats that you've had for 20 years. We need to give these things some thought. But the main thing is, preach the word of God. There's a church here. It's the largest church in the world. I'm not going to say its name. It's the largest church in the U.S. That young minister is doing something right. I don't care what anybody says about him. They can knock him all they want to, but it's the reason why he packs stadiums with thousands of people. He's not trying to pimp anybody. As long as I've been watching him on TV, and he has a lovely mom. I love his mom. But as long as I've been watching him and his wife and his family on television, I have never seen him sit up there and start begging folk for money and trying to raise money and telling folks to send him this or that, to go buy this or that. I haven't seen it. So, I mean, a lot of these older ministers, especially all these black ministers, can take a page out of his book. Find out what he's doing. Because he's doing something right. But you may say, well, you got the pride thing going on. I don't need to follow him. You know what I mean? I'm just going to do my thing. Okay, but I'm just telling you, there's something's terribly going wrong with why black men are not coming to church. And you have some that's sitting right there in your church today that don't want to be there. They sit up there and listen to you, but they probably in there looking for some woman. They can care less about what else is going on in that church. Because, see, they've been turned off by a lot of the stuff that you've been doing. So you need to think about these things, man. Come on. Let's get real about it. See, I don't hold any punches. I'm not afraid of nobody. Some people say, they're touching out down there. You shouldn't criticize a pastor. I don't care anything about that. You know what I mean? If you're doing something wrong, I'm going to tell you you're doing something wrong. That's between me and God to be. If I'm going to be judged or punished by it, let God do that to me. I can care less about what some of these other ministers or pastors have to say. I don't care. Because this thing is bigger than them. This will be going on after they're dead and gone, after I'm dead and gone. So this needs to be addressed now. Somebody needs to talk about it. Somebody needs to find some ways to remedy this situation so we can get black men back in the church, closer to God, praying, families back together. These are the things that need to be addressed. Not telling you how you can be prosperous in America. I mean, nothing wrong with prosperity. But I'm still trying to figure out if you're going to sit up and talk about prosperity, talk about King Solomon. Tell people in the Bible where King Solomon gave 1 penny. And God made him the richest man ever. So let's be real about this thing, man, and stop putting guilt trips on people because you say, oh, you're a God robber because you didn't give. You know, what about the sin in your life? Did you clean that up first? You mean to tell me I can be doing all kinds of sin, sleeping with all kinds of women, pimping, selling drugs, and you mean to tell me if I give you $100, I'm going to get $1,000 in return? Let's be real about this thing, man. Come on. Stop playing around with people's lives and their souls. You getting over on them. So it goes right back to my statement. Is the church following the world, or is the world following the church? So anyway, man, before I get all heated with all of this foolishness that I see going on television ministries and all this old kind of, you know, crazy stuff about telling you what you should be doing, and they fool around doing 10 times worse.